the software can be downloaded from this internet address, gal-ana.de/basic-mm/en/. Just click this download menu, and after that install it at your Windows laptop or desktop. Now we go to the software MMN basic. We give the name first. That is 40 meter band vertical delta loop. Okay. The center frequency of 40 meters band at Aero region 3 is 7.1 megahertz. Type that. And after that we click calculate tab here. We have to set the ground characteristic. The ground is not going to be free space. The antenna where it's going to be placed is not, for sure, it's not going to be free space. Free space is without buildings or trees surrounding it. Impossible. Perfect ground, impossible. It's going to be a real ground, so we have to enter the ground variable value here. That is, those are dielectric and conductivity in millisiemens per meter. We try to find that at manuals. Manuals also here at this internet address. Complete manuals. Okay. Okay, this is it. There are several types of ground, seawater. You choose this if you are going to place the antenna above the sea ship, probably. Ground type of freshwater if going to put the antenna above lake ship, probably, or wet ground if going to install the antenna above swamp, dry field, forest if you're going to place your antenna which is surrounded by forest. Sandy field if you're going to install your antenna at the beach, suburb, industrial, arid field. For example, we are going to place the antenna at the ground which is surrounded by forest, so the dielectric constant is 13 and the conductivity is 5. Again to the software, we put dielectric 13, conductivity 5. Click OK here. Now we have to enter the value of height. Height is the height of the feed point of this delta loop, which is going to be at the top of the tower, which is 20 meter high. So we put 21 meter here. And this is, for example, it depends on your tower height or whatever design you like. Okay, and the material we are going to use for that delta loop is going to be a copper wire. Choose CU wire here. CU stands for cuprum in Latin language, for copper in English. CU wire 21. Okay. Okay, those are all okay. And now we are going to click wire edit to draw the preliminary design at the Z axis here. Z representing the tower, vertical tower, and X representing the ground level here. So the feed point is 21 meter high. So move the cursor here at the z-axis until it reach 21 meter. You could see here Z position 21 meter, 2499, 2641, 2926. This is okay. X0, okay. Stretch the wire. Okay. The length of the wire number 1 is okay. Before it, delta loop has total length of 1 lambda. 1 lambda for 40 meter band is around 40 meters long, and divided by 3, each wire should be around 13 to 14 meter. Okay, this is too long. This is 14.4, too long. So we click edit wire here, edit wire, click. We reduce the length of this wire number 1. Okay, now 13.0384. Yes, we lengthen it a little bit. Too long, 15 meters. This is too long. Should be between 13 and 14. .45. Okay, now we click new wire to draw wire number 2 from here to here. This is just roughly dimension. You don't have to be precision. Okay. Okay, 13.5. And now click new wire again to draw wire number 3 from here to here. Wire number 3 length is 13.2. Okay, these are all okay with the each length around 13 to 14 meter. Okay, click okay. Okay, now we click geometry tab here, and we are going to enter the value of wire diameter, wire radius. Radius is R, radius is half of diameter in millimeter here. For example, the radius of the wire is 0.9. 0.9. We type 0.9, click enter. So the diameter is 0.9 times 2. It is 1.8 millimeter. I believe bigger the wire diameter, better for the gain. Okay, but more expensive, I believe. Wire number 2 also 0.9. Wire number 3 also 0.9. After entering the radius of the wire, we should give the pulse to simulate this simulator. the pulse is going to be placed here at the feed point, at this at the this is wire 1, at the beginning of wire 1. This is the pulse is going to be placed here. So how to do that? Add the pulse variable here. Just type W1B stands for at the beginning of wire 1. How do you know this? Just go to the manual, scroll up, scroll down, don't worry, everything there about pulsing, entering signal. Yes, pulse at the feed point. For example, W1C stands for center of wire number 1. W2B stands for the beginning of wire number 2. So this is very easy. Back to the software. If the pulse is going to be put here at the beginning of wire number 1 here, then we type here W1B stands for the beginning of wire number 1 and click enter. Okay, the voltage is going to be 10 volt and phase degree is 0 degree. Now after that we are going to try to simulate the performance of this preliminary design, just rough design without precision design. Okay, and the variable all okay. Try to start simulation. Now we are getting the performance of this design with this length of wire number 1, wire number 2, wire number 3. The performance, the gain is okay, 4.65 decibels above isotropic antenna, okay. But looks, there are several problems here. First, the SWR compared to 50 ohms characteristics, 50 ohms standard impedance is 23.5. The best SWR is 1. This is very far. So this is first problem. Second problem, the resistance at the feed point of this antenna is 88.33. The characteristic resistance of commonly used coaxial cable like RG58 or RG8 is 50. So this is very still far. The third problem about the JX here is minus 305.9. The characteristic reactance of commonly used coaxial cable like RG58 or RG8 is 0. So this is very far. How to solve that? These three problems here. You have to optimize the dimensions. Click optimize, optimization, and there are several parameters you could make optimize here. For the gain, of course, you are expecting maximum gain, so slide to the right, maximum right. For front to back ratio, because this is going to be omnidirectional antenna, just slide to the left here, most left. Okay, for the left is elevation angle. We are expecting lowest elevation angle, so we slide to the most right. And for GX, we are expecting J0, so we slide to the right. And for SWR, we expecting lowest SWR, we slide to the right. For matchness, we expect the best matchness, so we slide to the right. For current and voltage, actually there are current and voltage at the wire. We don't have to set anything here, it is not important. So the optimization will be to the all elements, so click all elements here and start to optimize. Okay, now the gain is still good, 4.61 decibels above isotropic antenna. The SWR still far from 1, but the feed point resistance also still far from 50 ohms. This is 163.7. And but look here to the JX, or this is the imaginary part of the impedance. Okay, JX, it is 0.4986. This is very close to the J0, which is the characteristic reactance of commonly used coaxial cable like RG58 or RG8. This variable, okay, this variable very close to 0. Okay. So yes, we have the dimension has changed, I'm sure, because of this optimization. All the dimensions you see in wire number 1, now the length increasing to 14.2, wire number 2 16, and wire number 3 13.94. Yes, increasing also, I believe. And for this design, the angle here around 75 degree, I think 75 to 90 degrees. Yeah, this is 80 degree, 75 to 80 degree, I think. Resulting this value. Okay, good gain, but still bad SWR and bad resistance here. So now we are going to discuss the gain of this 40 meters band vertical delta loop. This is gain compared to isotropic antenna. So how about the gain compared to very well-known half wavelength dipole? How to calculate that? Open the calculator here. To compare with the half wavelength dipole, this 4.61 here, should be reduced by 2.1. Okay, resulting 2.51 dB. So this antenna performs gain of 2.51 decibels above half wavelength dipole. So it looks it has a better gain compared to commonly used half wavelength dipole. So Okay, this is okay for the gain. This is interesting design because this antenna has better gain compared to dipole antenna. The GX already okay. Now still two problems here. First is the high SWR and higher resistance. How to solve that? We are going to design and install and use what is called as impedance transformer. Impedance transformer. The impedance transformer will transform the resistance of 163.7 at the feed point here of the antenna to 50 ohms of commonly used coaxial cable. Okay, runs here from the feed point to the transmitter. So this is there is unmatched here, unmatched. So how to make it match? So we have to design and make what is called impedance transformer with the ratio of 3.27 compared to 1 to transform this 163.7 to 50 ohm. Okay, the ratio of the transformer primary winding to secondary winding is 3.27 compared to 1. Okay, what is if there is unmatched here before using impedance transformer, if there is impedance unmatched here, for example, there is RF signal from the transmitter going to the feed point here, there is going to be reflected power back again to the transmitter here. That is called reflected power because impedance unmatched here. Okay, but if you use impedance transformer with good ratio, if there is RF signal here, there is not going to be a reflected power again back to the transmitter. It is going to be transmitted wholly at this antenna and at this feed point. It is better, right? So compared to the power back again to the transmitter and transmitted by the transmitter here. Okay, that is the function of impedance transformer in telecommunication equipment design. Okay, now what else we should design is what is called balloon. Balloon is different from impedance transformer. Balloon is the section to connect and balance coaxial cable to balance antenna like this with good balloon. The from left and right side of this antenna element there are going to be a balance voltage and current distribution. Okay, that is better. And the the transformer, impedance transformer, and balun can be combined at the same same box like it. Okay, that's all. So now we are going to check the far field plots here. Hey, the frequency is changing, so we'll go back to 7.1. Okay, sorry, try to start the simulation. Okay, 7.1. Okay, we check the far field plots. Okay, this is far field plots, or the low pattern of this antenna. Like this is the tower, and this is X and Z, Y axis. This is the parallel to the ground. As I said before, this is going to be omnidirectional antenna. Gain to the all direction the same, almost the same. Okay, and this is to check the elevation angle. You see here the elevation angle for the base gain is 60 degree to the ground. This is the ground. This is 60. This is 90 degree perpendicular, and this is 60 degree. You see the maximum gain here. Climb up at 60 degree from the ground. Okay, and yeah, this is the performance of this delta antenna. And now we are going to check the SWR bandwidth of this antenna. Back to calculate tab, click plots here, and we are going to analyze bandwidth of 400 kilo or 200 kilohertz here. Okay, at center frequency 7.1 megahertz. Click SWR 200 kilohertz, and we are click all points to sweep the value across this 200 kilohertz. Click all points. Okay, now here the SWR bandwidth. The minimum SWR is at 7.05 megahertz. Okay, the value is 7.5. The value SWR is 3.2. This is 3.25. This is 3.2. Yeah, 3.2 is running from the antenna to the coaxial is before the impedance transformer. If we use if you use the okay, 3. We should check the data before 7.1. If you use the impedance transformer with the ratio of 3.27 compared to 1, so the SWR at the joint between impedance transformer and the coax will be 3.2 divided by 3.27. Yes, this is 0.97. Yes, very close to 1. So at the frequency of 7.05 megahertz, after the impedance transformer, it's going to match with the coax. Okay, so still good. How about the SWR at the frequency of 7 megahertz? We see here. The SWR is around 3.25. This is 3.5. So this should be 3.3. Okay, 3.3. Open the calculator. 3.3 divided by 3.27. 3.27. Result is 1.009. Still very close to SWR1 at the join between impedance transformer and the coaxial cable. Still very low SWR, and I believe also there at 7.1 and at the edge of 40 meters band edge at 7.2 megahertz, the SWR is 3.7. 3.7. Let's check the SWR after the impedance transformer. Open calculator. 3.7. 3.7 divided by 3.27. This WR is 1.13. Okay. At the joint between impedance transformer and the coax, the SWR is 1.13 here, 1 here, and 1. Very, very flat, very wide bandwidth. Okay, so this is the good antenna. And okay, good antenna. But remember, in order to in realization of this antenna, for example, this is the dimension of each wire. Wire number 1, the length is 14.2 meters. In realization, you cut wire up to 4.2 for wire number 1, wire number 2, wire number 3, etc., etc. And you hang the delta loop at the tower. You have to check again with the antenna analyzer about the impedance here at the feed point. Using antenna analyzer, which is having R and GX reading here, because from computer simulation and realization in practical, there could be slight differences. Okay, so you have to check again, and you have to adjust the length, probably wire number 1, wire 2, number 3. So you will get, after the impedance transformer and balloon in join to the coaxial cable, there should be SWR1. Okay, there. That's ready for the antenna to be used. Okay. That's the way to design the antenna, and in practical, how to realize that. What is interesting is, can this antenna with this dimension be used at another band, for example at 20-meter band or 15-meter band or 10-meter band. Let's check with this simulator. Just change the frequency to the center frequency of 20-meter band. That is 14.175 megahertz. That is this is the center frequency of 20 meters band. 14.175, still same variable, still same dimension. We simulate. Okay, this is the result. Frequency is 14.175 megahertz. The gain is okay, 7 dBi, but the problems here at the SWR is 6 now. Resistance at the feed point of this antenna also increasing to 215.6, and the GX is increasing also. So using the same transformer balloon, the SWR, if this antenna is used at 20 meters band, will be much higher. The SWR will not be 1, okay? It will be much higher. There is going to be much reflected power there if this antenna is used at 20 meter band. Not efficient to be used at 20 meters band. So now how about to be used at 15 meters band with the center frequency of 21.225 megahertz. Let's start simulation. Now the gain is okay, but problem at this SWR, okay, and it is 10 now to compared to 50 ohm, so it needs another impedance transformer. Okay, the value of the R also different, and also the JX different here, not 0, not J0. So this antenna with this dimension also cannot be used at 15 meters band at 21.2245 megahertz. How about try to use this antenna at 10 meters band? The center frequency, for example, at 28.250 megahertz. Start simulation. Okay, this is the performance. The gain okay. SWR compared to 50 ohms, standard impedance change, resistance change, and JX change. So overall SWR will be much higher if still using same transformer balloon. So this antenna cannot be used also effectively at 10 meters band. So I think if you need to operate at 20 meters band, at 15 meters band, at 10 meters band, you should make another antenna for that specific band, try to simulate again with this computer simulation and realize again. That will be much better.